Good evening. And Happy New Year. When I was a teenager, I lived with my father and my stepmother, who were professional psychics. In addition to attending psychic fairs and having one-on-one clients, they also had their own psychic call-in TV chat show that aired on Friday evenings. And so the guests would come before and sometimes after the show, because it was Friday evenings, and sometimes they would stay for the weekend, sometimes they were friends. I found that I learned a lot about, psychic stuff, and just, about chakras and colors and energy and all this kind of stuff. So that by the time I moved to Vancouver when I was 21 years old, I had a very interesting way of being in the world. For example, I was really into signs at the time. So when I went to look at a building for an apartment, and the manager told me that the rent was $425 for the month, I thought, that's amazing, because I have $427. So the fact that I had almost exactly enough money was a sign to me that I should live there. So I moved into my apartment with my guitar and my $2, and I was in hippie heaven. I loved it. I had a candle, that's it. And I used to do my chanting. But one night I was bored because I didn't have TV or telephone. So I decided that I would go down to the beach and play my guitar on the beach. And as I'm walking towards the beach, I remember thinking to myself, I wonder where the best place for me to sit would be. And that's the kind of way that I lived my life at the time. I would just put things out to the universe. I was kind of like, the person who rides a horse without a saddle. I wanted the universe to guide me in every step. And so that's what I was doing. Like I said, hippie heaven. So I'm getting closer to the beach, and this area of English Bay is actually very, very dark at night. There's a few lights along the seawall, but not a lot. But as I approach the beach, I can see this great swath of moonlight lighting up one log. Now, moonlight, hello, huge sign. Problem, this log is on the other side of these enormous boulders. Now, I don't have a case for my guitar, so I'm just holding it by the neck, but I managed to crawl over these big boulders in the, almost pitch black. It's like midnight. And, I get to the log, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just happily picking away in the moonlight. And then I begin to hear these voices out in the dark. And suddenly it occurs to me, maybe this isn't the safest place to be for a young woman late at night. But then I remember the white light. Now, I remember there was this one lady I'd met, this one guest, who said that she never even locked her bike. She used to just surround it with white light. And I was amazed by that. So I'm sitting on this log and I'm thinking, I'll just surround myself in white light. And I do that. I close my eyes and I imagine myself surrounded in white light, and it totally works. I feel completely better. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And then a few minutes later, I can see this guy starts to crawl over these big boulders towards me. And I'm just picking away. I only know C, G, and D at this point, so I'm just going through the chords. But I'm watching curiously as this man sort of, makes his way over these humongous boulders towards me, and he gets to the sand, and then all of a sudden he stands there, and he turns away, and he goes. And I'm like, oh my God. I had no idea the white light went out that far. This stuff's incredible. I had never tried it before. I'm like, that is amazing. So then, a few minutes later, another man starts making his way over these boulders. And of course, now I'm really interested to see what will happen. And he gets to the sand, and he gets to where the first guy was, and then he gets a little bit further. But then all of a sudden, he's whacked, as if he's been hit by the force field. And then he turns around and he runs as fast fast as he can, and he's scrambling over the boulders. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm not trying to hurt anyone. Like, maybe, is there some way I can pull this in? Like, I was absolutely amazed by this. So I'm just, C, D, G, practicing my chords. And I'm just thinking, this is incredible. And a few minutes later, another guy starts making his way over these boulders. But he takes a really long time. I mean, a really long time. And by the time he gets to the sand, I realize why. He's completely drunk. And he can hardly walk in the sand. He's like weaving towards me. And as he gets closer, he gets, closer than the first guy, and closer than the second guy. And then he's getting closer, and I'm thinking, oh, that's weird. The white light doesn't seem to work against drunk people. That doesn't seem to make sense. But I'm not worried for my safety. I know he's not a rapist, because he's wearing a blazer and a collared shirt. So, and then as he gets closer, I can see that he's holding this little glass, like, a rocks glass that you'd put like a little bit of scotch in. And I'm thinking, wow, I wonder where he got that. And then as he gets closer, and he's, weaving, he finally gets close enough that I can see his face, and he can see mine. And I see this look of horror cross his face just before he shouts out, "Oh my God, you're a woman." And then he bends over and starts laughing and laughing and laughing. And he finally sort of, swishes over and sits down on the log next to me. And he looks at me the way someone might look at a puppy that's made a mess on the carpet, and says, "Do you know where you are?" And I said, "No." And he said, "You're in the gay Fruit Loop. This is where gay men come to cruise each other, darling." How many men have crawled over these rocks with that short hair of yours, thinking you're a young man playing the guitar over here? And all I could think was, it wasn't my white light. Now, when I look back at this story, maybe surrounding myself with white light didn't protect me, but it was the moonlight that was what first drew me to sit there. And moonlight is actual white light. And I can't think of a safer place for a young woman to be late at night than the Gay Fruit Loop. Thank you very much.